Hey folks, I am Kevin Iole and welcome to Yahoo Sports. Thanks for joining me on Saturday, December 5th in Dallas. There is a huge welterweight championship fight being held. Errol Spence is going to defend his titles against my guest, Danny Swift Garcia. Danny, how are you, my man?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you.
I think this is a really, really good fight. And I'm going to start by asking you what Terrence Crawford said. This is Errol's first fight since his accident. Crawford told me he didn't want to fight Spence in the first fight back because if you win, you don't get credit for it. Does that concern you, right? If you beat him, then all of a sudden, he has an excuse built in because he's coming off the accident.
No, that doesn't concern me. At the end of the day, I've been training hard and I'm preparing myself, for the best Spence. So that's all that matters to me. My job is to win no matter what circumstances.
How do you see him? I mean, where are his strengths? I mean, he seems like a really good puncher, but where are his strengths and where do you think he's vulnerable? He hasn't shown a lot of vulnerability, except for maybe in that Porter fight the last time out.
You have to just go in there and make adjustments, go in there and set the pace and fight my fight and make him do what I want to do. And just go in there and just make adjustments like a true champion. When you're a true champion, you got to figure out a way how to get in and dominate.
You were 36-2 in your career, and very easily could be 38-0, right? I mean, the two losses that you had were excruciatingly close losses. Does it haunt you when you look back on the Sean Porter fight, on the Keith Thurman fight, like that, that you didn't get decision? And do you ever think of little things that you could have done in those fights that would have gotten you over the hump?
Always, you always look back, even fights that I won, I look back and say I could have done something better. So you always feel like you could have done something better. Those are two fights, like you said, that, I could have won. And I feel like I won, but it's the past now. So I really can't do nothing about it. I'm just focused on December 5th now. And that's just my main goal, to be honest, is everything I've done in the past, it doesn't really mean nothing anymore. So I just got to go in there on December 5th, and this is my new future.
I mean, by losing those two fights in the one way, you're the B side in this fight, right? You're going to his hometown. You're the guy going to be challenging for the belts and everything. Had you won them, I mean, the thing would probably be the other way around.
Yeah, for sure. At the end of the day, I really don't look at it like that. Because I'm a champion. I earn my stripes in this game, and that's why I'm on this level. I've been the A-side fighter my whole career. So he's just the champion, and that's why they make him the A-side. But this is two A-side fighters going at it,
right.
Because I've been A-side my whole career. If you look at everything, all my headline fights, I always been the A-side. So that's how I feel. Always been an A-side fighter.
I wonder how training went or how it was affected by COVID. I mean, did you have access to sparring partners? Were things normal? Were you able to do the kind of work that you would have done had this been in a year without the virus?
Actually, to me, it's been a lot. The sparring partners, it was easy because we just got, people from New York or the East Coast, and they could just drive in. We didn't have nobody fly in because obviously you got to do the 14-day quarantine. So we got, guys from New York, all from the East Coast who drove in. And as far as the COVID situation, I feel like it was better. There's less distractions in the gym. There's really nothing much to do after the gym but go home and rest. So I think it benefited me in a lot of ways because I was a lot more focused.
So you don't have the distractions of, hey, somebody, let's go out while you're in camp and whatnot. I mean, are you a kind of guy that does that like during camp? Do you break camp at all? Would that be a thing, or is that not you?
No, I don't break camp. I never break camp, but I like to go out to eat with my family and stuff like that. I might take my daughter out on a Sunday on my off day and things like that. So little things like that I do, may go to the mall and buy some clothes, just to get my head clear and stuff like that. But other than that, no, I never break camp. Like I'll never like fly out of state and go to an event or something like that, then come back. That's
Right.
never been me. Yeah, I always been focused when it comes to my training camps.
Where do you see the welterweight division? Do you feel like Spence is the best guy out there other than yourself, or Crawford, Thurman? How do you see the division breaking down right now?
I just feel like it's all about matchmaking at this time. One win can make anybody number one guy. and that's what makes this division so exciting because one win can make you the number one guy. Like December 5th, that's just gonna make me the number one guy. So I feel like that's how this division plays out.
I know you worked the Porter fight. You were on the broadcast. I was there when you did your little practice run through with Keith Thurman about breaking that fight down. And I wonder, since you watched that fight carefully, you called it on television. Did you cull anything from that? You know, you fought Porter. Did you get anything from watching him up close against Sean, a guy you fought, that you can apply that you'll use on December 5th?
Yeah, definitely. Porter definitely showed him less respect than he showed me. You know, Porter was just going at him. He didn't do that to me.
Mhm.
He was very careful. So Porter fought a different fight, but other than that, yeah, I seen a few things in there that I could take advantage of and do better than he did.
Do you feel like you're underrated among the general public? Like a lot of times when I talk about you as an elite fighter, people scoff, and and I remember Keith Thurman told me something about you. He said the hardest guy I ever fought, the hardest puncher I ever fought was Danny Garcia, and I don't hear a lot of people talk about you in those terms. Yet your record is outstanding, and and everything that you've done is really high level. A, do you feel like you're underrated by the public and the media? And B, is it frustrating?
No, it's not frustrating because if you look at my resume, it talks for itself. I think a lot of people overlook me because I'm not like I'm not like a flashy fighter. You know what I'm saying? I'm more fundamentals, and I was taught the old school way of boxing, my hands up. So I think that's what a lot of people misunderstand about me. They don't see the flash, but they don't look at the fundamentals and the real true skill.
And I thought, going back to your fight with Brandon Rios, I mean, it wasn't the best Brandon Rios there ever was, but I thought you showed a little bit of flash in that fight. You let those hands go, and there was a
Yeah,
lot of leather being connected.
yeah, for sure. He was there in front of me, so I was able to get my combinations off. And he was definitely tough. So I went in there and I broke him down, then I finished him.
Now, Errol's not a guy that's necessarily going to be just standing right in front of you, toe to toe, slugging. So, in your opinion, what's the key for Danny to win this fight?
I have to go out there and set the pace. I got to go out there and use the jab and make adjustments. And I think that's in a fight like this, we just got to take it one round at a time and fight our way into the fight.
Do you have different jabs, Danny? Whereas, like, sometimes, people think of a jab more as a rangefinder setting things, but do you have a jab that sometimes it's a rangefinder, sometimes it's a power punch? And is that something that you feel like you can switch up as the fight goes on?
Yeah, definitely. You got the setup jabs, you got the hard jabs. So it's definitely speed jabs, up jabs. It's definitely a lot of jabs you can throw. It's just about the distance finder, or it's just using it how you want to use it to do what you want to do.
How much longer are you going to go at this? I mean, you've been in there with everybody. You're right at the top. You got a pretty good TV career ahead of you, right? You can do this
Mhm.
broadcasting thing if you want to do that. How much longer are you going to put your body through all this work that it takes to be a high level fighter? Do you still love it as much as you did when you were coming up with Golden Boy?
I've been boxing for 22 years, so
Right.
of course I love it. But that's a good question. We don't know. When my body tells me, hey Danny, when I feel like I can't compete at a high level, then that's when I feel like that should be it. But as of now, I feel good. I'm feeling good, and it's time to go right now. It's not even time to think about that, to be honest.
Well, I think about this. Like, you're out there. Now you're fighting Spence. You fought all the elite welterweights. Maybe with the exception of Crawford and Pacquiao.
Mhm.
It's like two that you haven't fought. Now, do you hang around for guys like Jerron Ennis, Rashidi Ellis, guys that are moving up and just getting into their prime? Are you going to be the guy there that they come in and try to challenge themselves against?
You know, I like Ennis. He's a Philly guy. And I think he definitely could be the future of boxing. So I'm not even looking at him like my competition. I'm looking at him a guy from Philly, who could carry the torch one day. He's definitely not my competition. I grew up in his dad's gym. I used to go to his dad's gym to spar when I was young. I used to go to Bosie's dungeon all the time. So, I know them like that. So I don't even look at them guys like competition.
Yeah.
I look at him like someone who can be pound for pound fighter one day and carry the torch for Philadelphia.
Over the years, I mean, everybody thinks of Joe Frazier from Philadelphia, obviously the legendary Bernard Hopkins. What is it about the area in Philadelphia that spawned so many great fighters? Why does Philadelphia produce so many elite champions?
I just feel like, the system in Philadelphia is just a great system. They teach you how to fight with your hands up. If you ever go to Philly, it's very competitive. The gyms are very competitive. Like there's 100 world champions in Philly who just never became world champion because for whatever reason, but everyone can fight. It's just a fighting city. That's why the Rocky movie is so famous, because it's really how people are, blue collar, hardworking people who are just underdogs and just refuse to give up.
How much, as you were coming up, did you pattern yourself after anybody that, any of those greats that I mentioned, or somebody I didn't mention from Philadelphia? Were they, was there any idol for you that, came through there? Even there's some before you were born that were legendary fighters. Anybody that inspired you to do this?
Yeah, definitely a lot of fighters inspired me. When I was coming up, there was David Reed, there was of course Bernard Hopkins. And I looked up to Bernard my whole career.
Right.
He's definitely a master at the sport of boxing, And then other fighters, like not even from Philly, like Trinidad. I used to love Trinidad, because I'm Puerto Rican.
Right.
So even Julio Cesar Chavez, I looked up Mike Tyson, Roy Jones Jr., all those types of guys. So Prince Nassim Hamed is also one of my favorite fighters too.
Wow.
Yeah, I love Prince. He was one of my favorite. Yeah, so I just always been a fan of the sport, from Philly and not Philly, anywhere around the world.
Did you ever watch I'm sure you have, but did you ever watch the Prince Nassim Kevin Kelly fight?
Yeah, when they dropped each other and then Prince came back and stopped them.
There was
Madison
like how
Square
many
Garden.
knockdowns? It was crazy.
Yeah, that was Madison Square Garden, right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
What kind of fight? I think of that fight as like the ultimate brawl. Just two tough guys going at it. Like, what kind of fight, as a fan, do you like to watch? Do you like to watch, where it's really smart boxing, and they're picking their shots and they're, using the fundamentals, or do you like it when guys get in there and they just bite down on the mouthpiece and go at it?
It depends. It depends. It really does depend. It depends. If it turns out, I just appreciate the sport. No matter your style, if it's a good fight, it's a good fight.
Yeah, like, a lot of people said Floyd Mayweather was boring, but I didn't see a lot of guys willing to jump in the ring and fight with him, right? They knew what he brought, because he had that kind of thing. And yeah, it's, everybody knows when you see those, Mickey Ward, Arturo Gatti fights, kind of what the guys are going through, right?
Exactly. Well, styles make fights. So people just say that because they couldn't hit him. They couldn't hit Floyd. So, he mastered the game. So that's the name of the sport. Hit and not get hit. And he did that. And then you got the Mickey Ward and Arturo Gatti. They had limited defense. So they were bound to that was a match made, match made in heaven for a promoter.
I'll wrap with this, Danny. Two more questions. It's been a couple of years since you had a championship belt around your waist. What is it going to mean to you to have, to be able to walk out and call, everybody calls you champ, I'm sure, because that's what happens in boxing. But, when you actually have that belt in your trophy case and you are the world champion, what will that mean to you after, several years of not having it? Have you learned to appreciate it more?
Yeah, definitely. You never want to take nothing for granted. Sometimes when you're the champion, you forget, you don't, sometimes it never soaks in and you never realize that you're the champion because you've been working so hard and you're so hungry. So definitely, it would definitely feel good. It would feel great, actually. And it'll just be perfect chapter to my career.
And any advice your dad's giving you this week? We have Angel hasn't been out there too much like normal. We normally hear Angel out there all the time. We haven't heard from him. What's his word on this fight?
He just make sure I'm mentally ready every day, just talking to me, giving me advice, and because all the hard work is put in. All the hard work is done. Right now, we're just focused on our weight. So right now it's just a mental thing, just staying relaxed, staying calm until it's fight night, and then we go out there and be 110% confident and go out there and get this victory.
last week, get the victory. Any predictions? Do you think do you have the ability to stop Spence? Do you feel like you could put that exclamation point on and not only win the fight, but win by stoppage?
Yeah, I feel like I can knock anybody out. To be honest, I feel like I have the punching power to knock anybody out. It's just one mistake, and then my power is there. So, but we're going there. We want to knock him out, but we're gonna go in there and fight it, the fight we want to fight.
Sure.
And then December 5th, everyone would just tune in and see what I bring to the table.
Going to be a great fight, as he said, December 5th at Cowboy Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Danny Swift Garcia will challenge Errol Spence for 2 of the 4 welterweight championships. So hopefully at some point we'll get all those belts together. Danny, I wish you good luck. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate it.